Ahoy everyone, it's Jeff, aka Got the Scummer. I'm out down the pub. Apologise, there's a bit of music, but I guess I need a beer after the day and need to come on and just get some things off my chest about basically the absolute state of Britain in 2022, quite frankly, and the absolute plums that run our country. And I suppose this could be a bit of a rant, but I'm going to try and keep it. I'm going to try not to swear too much because there's other people about, but I can't make no promises on that. I mean, it's always a challenge when you're really wound up about something not to go off on one and just bury these absolute cretins. And I guess I should start off by saying, look, one of the things I tend to do when I'm working at times, I tend to have my earphones in and I listen to LBC radio quite often in the mornings. James O'Brien in particular, I quite like listening to him. Who does like a phone-in show. Well, the last couple of days, the topic of food banks has come up, and it's come up quite a bit in the news actually, I suppose, the last couple of days, and I thought I'm going to throw my 2 cents in on this. First of all, let me state that if you're somebody who's running a food bank or volunteering at a food bank or donates to a food bank, this isn't aimed at you, okay? But this is aimed at the absolute cretins that have made what you do a necessity in Britain in 2022 when it shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a need. There just shouldn't be a need for this. But I appreciate what you are doing, trying to help out people who are falling on hard times and be charitable. But the point is, you know, you're doing something that the government really, basically, you're doing. The Blooming Tory party loves food banks because it basically means charities are doing stuff that they should be doing and they can't be arsed with it. And I don't know, the past week has just shown how absolutely out of fucking touch with reality some of the Tory party MPs are. I thought a number of years ago that we'd hit the absolute depths of Conservative Party imaginative fantasy when we had Ian Duncan Smith saying how he could survive on £7 a day. I thought we'd hit the absolute depths of it then, but no, no, they're getting worse. They're getting worse. They're getting absolutely worse. Now, as we know, there's a cost of living crisis going on at the moment. We've all been hit by it a bit. I mean, I'm luckier than most. I don't have to use a food bank yet. Things are a little tight at the moment. You know, I'm going to cut back on a few things, but I haven't been hit as hard as some people yet. But some people have really been hit hard by this. And what do we get out of the people who should really be addressing this problem? Well, one case in point, a cabinet minister last week, George Eustace, suggested that as if we didn't know, or as if people didn't know already, that there's actually I don't know if people know this. There's actually like brand, supermarket brand things, so you don't have to buy the big name brands, and the supermarket brands are a bit cheaper. You know, it's a bit cheaper to buy like Lidl or Aldi brands, or even than it is buying I don't know, Heinz or whatever, whatever. Wow, what a revelation, Mr. Eustace. As if you think the average working class people in this country didn't know that already. Yeah, we're well aware of it. Thank you very much. We're well aware of it, and it ain't, it isn't just a matter of swapping to supermarket brands and stuff and cheaper brands of food and shopping goods. A lot of people have already done that, and they're still struggling. Then, yesterday morning, we wait to see this. Just unreal scene. Just an unbelievable scene of the Conservative Party leader of Dartford Council having a big ceremony of a big ribbon cutting ceremony where they're all having a smile or whatever, and it's a big photo opportunity. Now what are they doing? Are they opening a new leisure centre, new hospital, new public library, perhaps, even a new public toilet? No. They're opening a goddamn food bank. And they think this is something that should be celebrated, and they could all get around, have a big nice smiley photo, and cut as if this is something to be proud of. That we have to open more food banks because more and more people are feeling the pinch of this. And I'm going to say this. I should just say something for a moment. Now, I'm saying I'm going to be bashing on the Tories a lot here, but now I do know that, and I'll be fair, that there are even some Conservatives who see that this is nothing to be proud of, and it's actually it's anything. The fact that we're a lot, food banks are a necessity in 2022 is a national embarrassment. It is shameful. It is shameful that this even needs to exist. But now I'll say one thing to the leader of Dartford Council. I'll at least give him props, or at least having the balls to phone into O'Brien's show and talk to O'Brien about that yesterday. But that's about all the only thing good I can actually have to say about it. He just totally oblivious as to why that ain't a good look. That ain't a good look, celebrating, smiley, happy, and then, basically throwing a goddamn party because they're opening the food bank, and he's oblivious to why that ain't a good look. But then, as if that isn't it, we get the absolute creme de la excrement. Following on from that, there's another Tory MP called Lee Anderson, who I found out actually apparently was a member of the Labour Party and took for like decades until 2018, and now has gone, become a Tory, jumped to the Tory Party, instantly became an MP, and is now absolutely, I can't, it's beyond ridiculously right wing. It's the same clown who said he wasn't going to support the England team because they took the knee during the football and all that. So, yeah, this clown. This clown actually stood up in the House of Commons yesterday. He may have even agreed that it's a little shameful that food banks are a necessity. But that isn't, of course, that's not the fault of 12 years of, his the party he's a elected member, so their policies really. No, 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 no. It's because us oiks, us poor people, we don't know how to cook properly and we don't know how to budget ourselves properly. So we go to the food bank in his constituency. He's going to give us lessons on how to do that and how we can cook a great nutritious meal for just 30p a day. 30 pence a day. What's that? I don't know. What's that in American money? What, 45 cents? Something like that? I don't know. Maybe not even that. And maybe there's a place where you can have a great nutritious meal for 30p. Including how to cook it, and maybe there's a place where you're able to do that, but it ain't anywhere on this fucking planet. I mean, how out of touch with reality are these people now? How ridiculously out of touch with reality have these cretins become? It's just, it beggars belief, doesn't it? It beggars belief that a guy can actually get up in Parliament and be that condescending, that all us basically us oiks, the people in the underclasses. Well, you obviously don't know how to budget yourselves. You don't know how to cook for yourselves. This is a guy gets paid 85 grand a year, and he claimed like 220 grand on expenses. Now, okay, look, I'll be fair. So I know some of those expenses go on officers and hiring a researcher and all that stuff, and which is okay, it's acceptable, I suppose. But 220 grand, come on. I mean, you tell me he knows anything about how to live on 30p a day. If he actually tried it, and he actually tried it, it was in that situation, he would know he's talking out of his arsehole. And I think that's even an insult to some of the people who actually, it's even an insult to people who actually volunteer and work in food banks, that, quite frankly. But it just seems to be the attitude. Jacob Rees-Mogg is a guy I've talked about on my channel before. It's actually one of my most watched videos when I did a takedown of some ridiculous stuff Jacob Rees-Mogg had said. This is the guy who looks like he's cosplaying something out of some Victorian period drama about the aristocracy. He finds food banks very uplifting and inspirational thing. Maybe because he is stuck in Victorian times or whatever. Maybe that's it. I'm sure in his wet dreams the workhouse will be back. In that guy's wildest fantasies, the workhouses will be a thing in Britain again. And it just speaks to it is almost an ideological thing, isn't it? They're well, look, the government shouldn't have to help you out because we've screwed things up or whatever, or the fact that there's a cost of living crisis, which is not anybody's it's just not the British people's fault. It's not the fault of poor people who are falling on hard times, or who have fallen on hard times because of this cost of living crisis, who have their energy bills shoot up through the roof, but their rent go up or whatever. This is not uplifting. This is depressing, and it is shameful. It is an embarrassment. that these people either don't give a shit or just are so out of touch with reality. I mean, when that guy was it, George Eustace said about the whole thing about, you know, supermarket brand foods. This has reminded me of the whole Marie Antoinette thing, you know, letting them eat cake. And yeah, okay, I know that story's apocryphal and whatever, and she didn't actually say that. But that's what it stunk of to me. This is how out of touch with reality these people have become. And it don't look like it's getting any better anytime soon. And as I said, I'm better off than some people. I can still just about afford to grab a cigarette and come up the pub, but I don't know how much longer that's going to be the case, honestly. Some people really are living hand to mouth in this country, and these are people who are working full-time jobs as well. "35 years of being told we're all middle class now, and if you're not in that whole we're all middle class now bracket, you're part of this underclass and you're there because you're a lazy good for nothing." That don't hold water no more. That don't hold water. It shouldn't have held water. It should not have held water for the last 25 years. And I'm even going to knock the Labour Party for that, because they were just as bad for promoting that myth during Blair's era as well. Something badly needs to change. We badly need to go another way. Because the way we're heading at the moment, it feels like we're heading into the abyss. Okay, this has just been Jeff, aka Gotham Scummer. This has just been a rant. I just needed to get this stuff off my chest today. I'll see you all later. Salute.